Red Ruthenia, Red Russia. Red Russia is a historic term used since the Middle Ages for southeastern Poland and western Ukraine, first mentioned in a 1321 Polish chronicle. Red Ruthenia was the portion of Rus incorporated into Poland by Casimir the Great during the 14th century. Its name reportedly derives from the Old Slavonic use of colors for the cardinal points of the compass. That is, the pre-Christian totem-god Svetovid had 4 faces. His northern face was white, his southern face was black, his eastern face was green, and his western face was red. According to another theory, many place names in the area start in Cherv, after Proto-Slavic *cr red. These include the so-called Chervan cities. For the 14th century, after the disintegration of Rus, Red Ruthenia was contested by the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, the Kingdom of Poland, the Kingdom of Hungary, and the Kingdom of Ruthenia. After the Galicia-Volhynia Wars, for about 400 years most of Red Ruthenia became part of Poland as the Ruthenian voivodeship. The historic Red Ruthenia, reaching Przemysl and Sanic in the southwest, has been primarily inhabited for nearly a millennium by Ruthenians, a term which, in this context, refers to both ethnic Ukrainians and Russians. The first known inhabitants of Red Ruthenia were Lendians, with Boykos and Lemkos on its perimeters. Later Walddeutsche Jews, Armenians and Poles also made up part of the population. According to Marcin Bielski, although Bolesław I Chrobry settled Germans in the region to defend the borders against Hungary and Kievan Rus, the settlers became farmers. Mathiasrex described German peasants near Jezo, Przemysl, Sanic, and Jarosław as good farmers. Casimir the Great settled German citizens on the borders of Lesser Poland and Red Ruthenia to join the acquired territory with the rest of his kingdom. In determining the population of late medieval Poland, colonization and Polish migration to Red Ruthenia, Spies and Podlachia should be considered. During the second half of the 14th century, the Vlachs arrived from the southeastern Carpathians and quickly overspread southern Red Ruthenia. Although during the 15th century the Ruthenians gained a foothold, it was not until the 16th century that the Wallachian population in the Bieszczady Mountains and the Lower Beskids was Ruthenized. For the 14th to the 16th centuries, Red Ruthenia underwent rapid urbanization, resulting in over 200 new towns built on the German model. History. During the Middle Ages, the region was part of the Ruthenian Kingdom of Galicia-Volhynia. It came under Polish control in 1340, when Casimir the Great acquired it. During his reign from 1333 to 1370, Casimir the Great founded several cities, urbanizing the rural province. The name Ruszczawona has been used for the territory extending to the Dniester, centering on Przemysl. Since the reign of Władysław Jagiello, the Przemysl voivodeship was called the Ruthenian voivodeship, centering on Lwow. The voivodeship consisted of 5 regions: Lwow, Sanic, Halicz, Przemysl, and Chelm. The town of Halicz gave its name to Galicia. In October 1372, Władysław Opolczyk was deposed as Count Palatine. Although he retained most of his castles and goods in Hungary, his political influence waned. As compensation, Opolczyk was made governor of Hungarian Galicia. In this new position, he contributed to the economic development of the territories entrusted to him. Although Opolczyk primarily resided in Lwow, at the end of his rule he spent more time in Halicz. The only serious conflict during his time as governor involved his approach to the Russian Orthodox Church, which angered the local Catholic boyars. Under Polish rule, 325 towns were founded from the 14th century to the second half of the 17th century, most during the 15th and 16th centuries. Red Ruthenia was conquered by the Austrian Empire in 1772 during the First Partition of Poland, remaining part of the empire until 1918. Between World Wars I and II, it belonged to the Second Polish Republic. The region is currently split, with its western portion in southeastern Poland and its eastern portion in western Ukraine. Administrative division. During the 1340s, the influence of the Rurik dynasty ended. Most of the area passed to Casimir the Great, with Kiev and the state of Volhynia falling under Lithuanian control. The Polish region was divided into a number of voivodeships, and an era of German eastward migration and Polish settlement among the Ruthenians began. Armenians and Jews also migrated to the region. A number of castles were built at this time, and the cities of Stanislaw and Kristyanopol were founded. Ruthenia was subject to repeated Tatar and Ottoman Empire incursions during the 16th and 17th centuries and was impacted by the Khmelnytsky uprising. The 1654–1667 Russo-Polish War and Swedish invasions during the Deluge. The Swedes returned during the Great Northern War of the early 18th century. Red Ruthenia consisted of three voivodeships: Ruthenia, whose capital was Lviv, and provinces were Lviv, Halych, Sanic, Przemysl and Chelm bells, separating the provinces of Lviv and Przemysl from the rest of the Ruthenian voivodeship, and Podolia, with its capital at Kamieniec-Podolsky. Ruthenian voivodeship Chelm land, Chelm county, Chelm powiat of Ratno, Halych land, Halych powiat of Halych, Kolomiu county, Kolomiu Trembola county, Trembola. LWOW land, LWOW powiat of LWOW, LWOW powiat of Idygzo, Przemysl land, Przemysl. Its area was 12,000 square kilometers, and in the 17th century it was divided 5 smaller regions. Przemysl county, Przemysl, powiat of Sambor, Sambor powiat of Drohobych, Drohobych powiat of Stryj, Stryj. Sanic land, Sanic county, Sanic. Intensive settlement occurred from the 13th to 15th centuries in an area flanked by the Visluk, San and Wisloka rivers. The Vlachs primarily engaged in agriculture. Moving west, they established a number of villages during the 15th century. In Sanic land were 6 Jewish communities, with synagogues and kahal organizations. 16th and 17th century Jewish communities were also autonomous in criminal law. Belz voivodeship, Belz county, Belz, Grabowiec county, Grabowiec, Horodlo county, Horodlo, Lubegzo county, Lubegzo, Busk land, Busk. World War I and Polish-Ukrainian War. During World War I, Galicia saw heavy fighting between Russia and the Central Powers. Russian forces overran most of the region in 1914, after defeating the Austro-Hungarian army in a chaotic frontier battle during the war's opening months. This gave Russia the opportunity to invade Germany from the south. In 1918, Western Ruthenia became part of the restored Republic of Poland, and the local Ukrainian population briefly declared independence. FPR Eastern Galicia as the West Ukrainian People's Republic. These competing claims lead to the Polish-Ukrainian War. In Western Red Ruthenia, Rus and Lemkos formed the Lemko Republic in 1918 in an attempt to unite with Russian Soviet Republic instead of Ukraine. This proved impossible, and they later attempted to unite with Russians from south of the Carpathians to join Czechoslovakia as a third ethnic entity. This effort was suppressed by the Polish government in 1920. The area was incorporated into Poland, and the Republican leaders were acquitted by the Polish government. Unlike the contemporaneous Lemko Republic to its west, the Komansa Republic planned to unite with the West Ukrainian People's Republic in an independent Ukrainian state. Unification of the Komansa Republic and West Ukraine was suppressed by the Polish government as part of the Polish-Ukrainian War. World War II. In 1939, the Supreme Command of the Wehrmacht approved Fall Vice, detailing the invasion of Poland. According to the plan, Galician military brigades would act as a fifth column, attacking and demoralizing the Polish army in the rear if Polish resistance was stronger than expected. After September 17, 1939, all territory east of the San, Bug and Neman rivers was annexed by the USSR and divided into 4 oblasts of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. In 1941, Soviet authorities conducted 4 mass deportations from the eastern part of the Second Polish Republic inhabited by Ukrainians, Belarusians, Jews, Lithuanians, Russians, Germans, Czechs, Armenians and Poles. Approximately 335,000 Polish citizens were deported to Siberia, Kazakhstan and northeastern European Russia by the NKVD. According to General Vasily Christoforov, director of the FSB archives in Moscow, 297,280 Polish citizens were deported in 1940, after June 22, 1941. Although Sovietization ended when Germany occupied eastern Ruthenia during Operation Barbarossa and formed the District of Galicia, the evacuating Soviets killed many prisoners awaiting deportation. Conflicts in Ruthenia and Volhynia between Poles and Ukrainians also intensified during this time, with skirmishes between the Polish Home Army, the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, the Wehrmacht and Soviet partisans. These conflicts included massacres of Poles in Volhynia and eastern Galicia and revenge attacks on Ukrainians in Ruthenia. Many Ukrainian Galicians joined the UPA and supported its anti-Soviet and anti-Polish activities. Others joined Germany in its fight against the USSR, forming the 14th Waffen-Grenadier Division of the SS commanded by German and Austrian officers Walter Szymanna and Fritz Freytag. After the war, the new Polish-Soviet border, with majority Polish-speaking areas in the west and Ruthenian Ukrainians in the center and east, was recognized by the Western Allies at the Yalta Conference. However, there were large minority populations on either side of the new frontier. In 1947's Operation Vistula, Polish Communist authorities moved about 200,000 ethnic Ukrainians to the former eastern territories of Germany.